And we're back?
Yep.
Okay.
3 things.
Okay.
With some website notes, added some features. There is now a pickup option. If you're a local person, you want to place an order and have it picked up, you can do that. $0 to pick it up. Now we
don't have to back it up.
We don't have to back it up. We offered this in the past, but we had a lot of problems because people would.
People from San Francisco would want to.
People from all over the country would be like, "Oh, we'll pick it up."
Right.
And for some reason, they thought that meant they could pick it up at their local Walmart.
Yeah.
I'll never quite understand that, but it
I
happened.
particularly like the part that there was no shipping fee.
Yeah, it's just free. I think people just saw the 0.
Yeah.
That happened so frequently, we had to remove it.
Right.
I don't think. Maybe Shopify is better at communicating about what that actually means.
We'll find out.
The second option is the delivery option. So we now have local delivery. I can't remember if it's 10 or 15 mile radius. Like flat fee at $20. This is mostly for our industrial side customers.
Yeah.
So if you're working a job out somewhere, you need some tools delivered. Most likely that will happen in a 1975 El Camino.
And $20 is a great deal for them.
Yeah. Yeah, not so great deal if you're wanting to buy a socket. But if you're wanting to buy a lot of stuff and you want it, if you order it early enough, we could most likely do it the same day. Kind of like a lot of the local delivery services do that around town.
Yeah.
Anyway, so those are 2 options available. Okay, now to the main event. We got a call from our Norseman rep.
Yeah.
And apparently Norseman is having a problem with fraud on Amazon. People are essentially popping up, creating new stores, selling drill bits that aren't even close to what Norseman drill bits are or even look like.
But they say they're Norseman.
But they say they're Norseman on them, and then once Norseman finds out, they track them down. But by that time, that store is gone, and they've opened up the store under another name, and it's a very difficult problem to squash because who knows who anybody is on Amazon.
On the internet, for that matter.
Right.
Although you know who we are.
That's right.
This is what we look like.
Yeah. And we're always right here.
Right.
But yeah, so this is a problem. I've heard about tool fraud. I've always been skeptical about tool fraud.
Mm-hmm.
Just because in the past, it's like, I don't know. Have you ever seen any actual tool fraud, like companies making something that has the person's name on it, but actually isn't that?
I don't know that I've seen it.
I've heard about it. I've never actually seen it in person.
But this is kind of an easy one. Well,
this one is low.
They just get Chinese bits.
Yeah.
And sell them as Norseman.
Right. So this is a problem, and it kind of points to like it's important. It can be important to know who you're buying from, because if there is ever a problem, there's someone to come back to,
right?
And that's actually a pretty valuable thing.
Yeah. Let alone if you need something warranted.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had a guy in that was asking about rights warranty.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard a number of people actually complain about Snap-on's warranty.
Right.
Snap-on has changed their policy in some way that's kind of making it a little bit harder. We've talked about the history of the lifetime warranty thing before, but
but I have to tell this quick story. It was a few years ago. A guy came into the store with a broken right ratchet, and the right rep happened to be here at the time. And he picked it up and looked at it, and the ratchet was dated 1950. And he looked at me and said, "Give him a new one." So
yeah,
that's right.
They're very good.
Yeah.
I think they're also actually going through a transition of family ownership. So I think one of the new right people in the family is in the process of stepping up in the leadership.
Right.
So that's always exciting because that means sometimes there's a change in decision making. Sometimes you see new avenues open up for the potential of new development, new products, new things like that.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, Wright's just sitting in a wonderful opportunity because they essentially have no competition.
Right.
But the problem is they're just production maxed out. So, are they going to have time to develop new products? I don't know.
Their shipping's got a whole lot better.
Has it?
Yeah. Yeah, Norseman, another super solid company.
Right.
Right. They're union made, Minnesota. You almost never have any problems with them.
What an excellent company.
Yeah. I mean,
Right,
we sell tons of their drill bits.
For good reasons. It's good quality stuff.
Yeah. The Vortex bits have kind of just totally changed the market.
Yeah.
I often, when you sell something, you never hear back from a customer about it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's good, you only hear back if something's gone horribly wrong.
Right.
But with Norseman, we're selling those Vortex bits. Multiple people have come back to the store just to tell us how much.
Thank you for selling me this.
Right. How much they love those bits. Mainly because how many holes they get out of it. So I think it's kind of changed the game, the drill bit game.
Yeah.
That's mostly what we sell anymore. The only downside is you can't sharpen them, but not a lot of people sharpen their bits. So, I mean, we sell on Amazon. So, I don't want to give the impression that, I imagine it's an incredibly difficult problem to be Amazon, to try to have to manage all of these third-party sellers that you don't really have a relationship with. Anybody can set it up and give you a credit card, and it's just like you have all these people competing against one another, trying to sell all these different products, and what a nightmare.
And they don't manage. They just, if they just kind of make sure their system operates. And usually, when a customer complains, they come down on the side of the customer, whether they're right or wrong.
Sure. Yeah.
As we've seen many times.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, there's not a good answer to this fraud problem because of the way the Amazon system is set up right now. And maybe they'll take this as a lesson and make it easier for manufacturers, but they have not so far. And
I don't see how Amazon can handle it. It's up to the individual manufacturers.
Well, but
I guess what can you do?
Yeah, so this was a problem with SK. Not so much for the fake merchandise, but they tried to institute a MAP pricing program that was a debacle.
Yes.
And
one of many debacles.
But they were trying to do price control stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, there were people selling their stuff on Amazon for really low prices, and they had no idea who it was, right? Because you can make up a store name on Amazon, and so then they would buy sets from them to try to track down to see where the return address went, and so you're playing detective work, and that's time consuming, expensive. It's expensive, and a lot of the time, even if you do solve it and figure it out, then the person could just close that company down and start another company. And so when you have such strange distribution networks in which you don't actually have a personal relationship with the people you're selling to, which is kind of what the internet's caused, this is the result. Where it's it's like not everybody has those relationships of like, oh, I know your name. You know, like I know our right rep's name. I've been to the right factory. Like I've talked to those people. They know who I am, and there's a certain amount of trust. And
here's an interesting little test in reality. A lot of people that will be watching this video are people that buy tools on the internet. And so I wonder how many people have been disappointed or ripped off by buying something that turned out not to be what it was claimed to be.
Oh,
particularly
you're
tools.
opening up a yeah.
So people will probably have experiences that they might want to.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're like the more expensive thing it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I imagine that happens quite a bit with electronics.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Tools.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting to see how many people have those stories.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. You know, we've never really encountered it. Like, we've never had a deal of a liquidation that's like, oh, buy all of this Snap-on stuff or
right.
Milwaukee stuff, and it's actually all fake, or like, that's never happened to us.
Yeah.
And that, you know.
Because the way it works is they ship us the goods and then we pay for it. So,
right.
That's a good protection.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, I thought it was important for us to let people know that was happening.
Mm-hmm. And it's apparently pretty serious because I think Norseman has contacted us twice just to alert us to the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, there's only so much they can do. And so part of what they can do is to tell their trusted distributor network to get the word out and let people know, because, you know, you don't want to be in their shoes where people aren't familiar with them, buy a set on Amazon, they don't know what it's supposed to look like, it turns out it's junky Chinese bits, and they're like, oh, Norseman, they make crappy bits, you know, and that's just not the case. So,
I'm glad you did this.
good. All right. You got anything else?
Nope.